We're live?
I said you're live.
Alright.
I don't know how many people are in here.
Well, I'm going to give it a little bit and let people get on. If you're already on, thank you. Sorry that I'm a little late. We had to re-rig the cameras. It's been a while and they got all crooked and in the wrong way. So, welcome back.
Rubbing alcohol.
I hope everybody's been good. I've gone through hell, but I'm back. And I could see you. Well, not really. I could see the camera. So, do we have anybody on there yet?
I don't know.
So, I'm waiting to get confirmation from Sam that we're actually up and running. If you could see this, let me know that you can see me.
We have Shy.
So that I know everything's working. Who do we got?
Shy is in there.
Shy?
Sugar.
Why? Yeah, why do you call him Shy?
Because that's his screen name.
Oh.
Shy Freezy.
Yeah. Sugar Man. So is there...
there we go.
What's
Let's
up?
see here. Jesselyn, Tommy, Lion Coyote, you are live. Jesselyn and Sammy. Wow, I messed up on Sammy's name. Hey. Poodle Mama, welcome back, Tommy and Sammy. Hey, Tom, it's me, Bill.
Yeah, hey, Bill. Bill is my friend from high school. That we got into a lot of trouble and...
Oh, that Bill.
Hung out in Iorio's room all the time.
That Bill.
That Bill. Well, Bill, it's good to not see you. You know.
John King, glad you and Sammy are back. Hello.
So what I want to do is, first as everybody probably read, I can see again. You know, and I figure, just like everybody else, everyone wants to know exactly how it happened. I went on dialysis, and I've been on dialysis for 3 months now. 5 months now I've been on dialysis.
Ew, what is on your glasses? Yes, 5 months. You've been on 5 months.
Okay. So I've been on for 5 months. And it's every night for about 6 to 8 hours. Every single night. I have the machine in the room and it sucks. And it kind of hurts. But I do what I got to do so that I don't die. Dying sucks. Done that already. Anyway, we were driving home from San Diego, and I had my 2 nieces in the car with me. Sammy was driving, and I was kind of just looking at the dark. You know, and I started to see the dashboard, and I just thought it was my memory. Because that's pretty much how I saw everything. I just remembered what I saw. And I kind of have a photographic memory so I can bring things up in heavy detail. And then I realized that I wasn't remembering it, I was actually looking at it. And I started to see the sunlight coming through and the desert to my right and a Sam to my left. And I don't know exactly how I reacted, but I feel like I yelled.
You were quiet, actually. And then you're like, you actually started touching the dashboard.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh my God, I can see the dashboard. And that's a red car, and that's a black van, and that's a white car, and that says A, and that says this. And then you just started reading everything on the billboards.
Yeah. So I came out of the dark on the highway traveling home from San Diego.
Those should be better.
And
there's something on them. I think I got it all off.
Yeah. Like I said, I started to get it back then, and I really didn't even want to say anything. You know, I didn't tell really anybody but Sam. Because in truth, I was a little afraid it would go away. You know, my sight has fluctuated back and forth several times now. Nothing ever this clear. But, you know, it has essentially surfaced and then disappeared. You know, and surfaced and disappeared. So I didn't want to get my hopes up. So as time went on, some days I'd wake up and I'd see more and more out of my right eye. At this point, my left eye was still blind. And then we were watching TV, and I started to get a migraine. Immense, bad migraine. And the TV was getting really hard to see. And I went and rubbed my eyes, and I rubbed the right one, because the left one, for the last couple of years, has just been completely black. Never any light. Never even, you know, old light. But when I rubbed the right one, I noticed that I was still looking at the TV. So I covered my right eye and realized I'm looking through my left. And that was the first time I could see through the left eye. So I told Sam, and we kind of freaked out a little bit and celebrated and cried and, you know, but coming out of the dark, coming out of the dark has been like being born again. Seeing everything, seeing the colors, being able to see this, see the stupid bottle of rubbing alcohol. You never realize what you can miss. And we went and checked, and it turns out that apparently I've been legally blind since 2012. And now it's 2016.
Yeah. So
I feel like I lost an absolute ton of time. First thing I did is I looked at all the paintings I did blind. I went through to see just what kind of monstrosities I'd put together, and I was actually pretty impressed. It's a weird thing to look at something that you don't remember doing. You know, and seeing so much of it. But I got my sight, and I realized that there's been companies and people that have just been extraordinarily patient, incredibly kind, you know, and I went through hell, and, you know, lots of times I didn't know what was going to happen and what I was going to do, if I'd ever make it, you know, but I stood strong. I knew that no matter what,
you had to carry on, and now you're back, as if from outer space. Come on, that was pretty good.
It's pretty good.
All right, I'm sorry. I'll shut up now.
Yeah, you're right. At first, I was afraid. I was petrified. Well, but so coming back, I came to the drawing table, picked up a pencil, and in truth was scared pretty much immensely that I might have lost everything. But I knew that I owed Ultra Pro 5 Dragons. And they've been waiting over a year and not once complained or wrote and asked when they think I'm going to get them done, and it's paid in full. They've just been extraordinarily patient, and I've just left it as soon as I was ready, you know, they were ready. Just as soon as I was able to go, then I should go. So I sat down, pulled out the pencils and everything, and I started to go. And I'm going to show you now. We're going to do a little bit of show and tell. So I can show you what I've been doing until we get to the painting. Sammy, can you see this?
Hold on, I'm trying to focus you. The autofocus keeps focusing, so you're out of focus. Okay.
So we're going to start off with...
You can see...
Can you see this?
In your picture, look at the picture of Oliver right there. You could see from his butt all the way up. So they can only see half of that, unless you want me to adjust the camera further.
Hold on. How about that?
A little better. You gotta... The other... Move everything toward the right. Because you were doing everything more right. That's better. Let me adjust this a little bit more.
So what we're looking at here is I took a pencil and I just drew the first dragon that came out of my head. And I was really working on just getting my midtones. And I realized that, you know, when you're looking at values from light to dark, and you've been blind for the last 4 years, you know, there is no really light to dark. There's only extremes. I was only ever really able to see super high contrast. So I lost a lot of those midtones. And now I could see them all. Now I could see them, you know, pretty much crystal clear as long as I wear reading glasses. So I am now the proud owner of about 30 pairs of reading glasses. Thank you, Amazon. So here, this is one of the dragons. And I really liked him because I like the you know, these kind of spiky things and his spiky butt. Got a big elephant foot. You know, so I did that one, and then I went on to, there's another. Can you see him?
Yes, you can.
And then another. And I realized that all my dragons kind of look like bulldogs. Or dogs. They have very much a dog look to them. And since I'm a huge dog lover, that makes sense. You know? And this guy I wanted kind of like a demonic looking dragon. You know, so he's got the big front facing horns. I always do the more of a hand instead of just a claw. And I know, you know, I really think about the anatomy a lot because there are no animals at all in existence that have arms and wings. So there's nothing with 4 and then 2 wings, as far as I know. I could be wrong, but from what I've looked up, there's nothing like that, so I couldn't base it on anything. And then here's another. And this one, I was really trying to emphasize the texture of the skin. Now, I didn't want it to look like a smooth surface that has texture. I want it to really feel like lumpy, rocky. You don't want to pet them. And I had so much fun doing his neck and the wrinkles. It's a fun thing because there's not really like a handbook on how to do elephant wrinkles on a dragon. So I basically looked up a rhino. I looked up photos of like a rhino and elephants.
And that bodybuilder guy you have taped to the board.
Oh, yeah.
He's under the board, under your paintings.
Mm-hmm. I also pulled out a couple images from Muscle and Fitness magazine. I found this guy full of veins and all kind of real gross.
Poodle Mama says, I love them all.
And then, this was the last one.
You're good with that one. You don't need to move it.
Actually, he was the first one I did. I showed them in reverse. He was the very first one.
You can pull the brick down, the wood. That way they can see the rest of it.
There's no rest.
Oh, I thought there was more. I really love these dragons, Jen says. I love them all, Poodle Mama says.
Thanks. So, we went to Gen Con. You know, a little ways back, we went to Gen Con, and I was going in and out of vision. I would see, and then I would not see, and then I would see, and then I would not see. It was really frustrating. But I realized that I'm not able to go and do the shows like I used to. So my only option was to take work. So I decided that I would put it out there that I was going to take work, and within, I don't know how long.
A couple hours.
Yeah, within a couple hours, I had 6 companies at my table, you know, come in and talking to me about working for them. And the one that I loved, which is funny because I was a fan of their stuff before I ever met the owner, but it's called WYRD GAMES. And the owner, Nathan, came to my booth and we started talking. And he just noticed the thing. He didn't hear that I was looking for work. He just saw it and came to see. And we start talking, and we just match up really well. I go to his booth. I gave him my books. He gave me his figures and his books, and we kind of, trade my stuff for your stuff. And then we got to talking. And we kind of worked out a plan so that we could work together.
Michelle says, they really look awesome. I'm glad you're able to do this again. Jesse says, that had to make you feel great to be approached by that many companies.
It did. It felt great. And honestly, I was a little nervous. I said to Sammy, I don't know. We'll see if the industry still wants me. I don't know if it does. I've gone so long without being part of the rat race that I really didn't know what was going to happen. So, I talked to Nathan, and we made a plan to meet at his office on Monday after the show. And we went...
Dragon Con.
Was it Dragon Con?
Yeah, we went...
it was after Dragon Con.
Because they live in Atlanta.
All right. Yeah, because the company was right where we were staying for Dragon Con. So we met up, to have a quick meeting. That lasted 8 hours because we just wouldn't stop talking. Everybody, his lovely wife and his assistant, just awesome people. And we got along so well. I would hang out with them if we did nothing together. Just great, great people. And we had an awesome time. And we actually wound up spending 8 hours there that day.
Yeah, we did. Oh, tell them what was in the office as soon as you come into the office.
Oh, yeah. Well, we knew we were in the right... I knew I was in the right place. When I walked into the office, there was a wall-sized picture of Johnny Cash giving the finger. And I was like, yeah, I can work here. I can do this. So we talked, and we discussed taking his top... to start off, the first project will be taking his top 13 master characters for the game, and I would redesign them, and then in the redesign do a full painting of each one. And they had a thing on the website asking people what they would like to see me do. So everybody went and looked at my work and chose things accordingly. And I went and looked at my work and realized that if you look me up, you find a ton of Batman and Jokers. But you don't find a lot of my fantasy paintings, and you find a lot of diversity, but you find a lot more Batman. So they went and they picked, and the first character that they picked out, which I was going to have the book open and ready.
It's on top, isn't it?
No, it's right here.
Oh, okay.
The first character they picked out for me to redesign is a little boy named the Dreamer. Now, the Dreamer is a very, very cool character. Simple, but cool. He pretty much can bring nightmares to life. Now, there's I believe it's like a parallel universe that he goes in and out of. And the gist is that he could bring nightmares to life. He brings these monsters to life, and one in particular is I forget his actual name, but the kid renamed him afterwards to Lord Chompy Bits. Mm-hmm. So there's this giant nightmare monster that lives in the nightmare world, essentially, and it goes after people, and it sees the kid and goes after the kid. And the kid immediately is so powerful, just turns towards the monster, and boom. The monster has no will of its own, and it's completely under the control of the kid. Enslaved. Well, can you see this right here?
Yes.
Okay. I lost the piece of paper with the page.
Chompy Bits?
Yeah.
You keep talking, I'll search.
So,
I'll look. You talk to people.
I'm going to show you. Tell me if you could see this. This is what the kid looks like.
Raise it up a little bit more and lay it flat. Hey, that's better. There you go.
So, it's this little kid. The design is kind of nothing. He's got his pillow and his little monster there with him. And this is what I get to redesign. Now, for those of you out there that are or want to be professional artists, this is one of the most difficult things because you have to read the mind of the person asking it.
I don't know.
You know, they're not saying, draw me this, and you could just go, okay, well, here's your Spider-Man. You know, you're creating something, you know, essentially from nothing. So I have this kid, and they want him older. You know, and he's in 1906 London. So these are some random sketches, and if you see here, I don't know if you could see this. You could stop looking at it. That's just really.
Don't be mean. Let's see.
Can you see this? This little scribble right here is all I took out of this whole thing. Oh, and the monster face. And there's another one right here. And this is this. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. Don't pay attention to, you know, Junior Wayne. These little scribbles right here is what I came out with to try first. So the first one I did is this one. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. So I made the kid a little older, but he's still got the big head, little body. And I put some of the monsters in. But we were close, and I brought them even closer. So we tried this first. And it just didn't work. It didn't match up. So I said, okay, no worries. Let's do it again. Same. Okay. So I did this one next. Now I didn't add all the highlights. I stopped because they saw I showed the owner the sketch thus far, and he thought it was just a little too zombie gory and not enough nightmare. So figure that one out.
Jen says, so Sophia locked the bathroom door and grabbed a screwdriver to try and open it. LOL.
Nice.
I'm late, but I'm here. Feels good to be back.
So I went and did all this, and this is all just, I believe I drew this all with the lead holder, the 5.6.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a 5.6 lead holder. But I really liked her. And the kid is now not a big head, little body, but because the angle in which I sat him on the bed of gore, he looks a little stunted. Just because it's perceived that way. So I sent that, and they vetoed that one as well. Now, what you have to remember is it's nothing personal. And it doesn't mean that the drawing's bad. It just didn't match.
It's not what they were looking for.
Not what they were looking for. So, third time's a charm. So, third time I draw this kid. And essentially, it's me as the snotty son of a not a nice person I was.
CX32 says, clients are horrible sometimes. No mercy.
It's
MS-DOS says,
hold on, wait.
Don't do commission.
Wait. No. Clients are not horrible. It is not this idea that just because they don't like what you did doesn't mean that they're terrible. You have a job. Your job is to facilitate the needs of a client. Your job isn't to do whatever the hell you want to do, and they're supposed to love it. You have to match up to what they need. And that's your job. That's what makes you, the ability to do that is what makes you a professional. And it took 3 times, but who cares? 3 times, big deal. I personally feel that the company is awesome. I think the owner is great, and I really wanted to work with them. So I want to give them the best that I can, and that means I had to draw it 3 times. But so what?
Nikita says, why do you do so detailed sketches? So much work in this.
Well, to me, that's not a lot of work. I do detailed sketches because I want you to be able to see what I'm doing completely. If I don't render him out, if I just draw a shirt and just do the outline, and the editorial staff says, yes, that looks great, and then I come in and I draw the shirt and I render it, and the rendering is, I make the whole shirt look like it's made of velvet.
Let's see.
They won't like it.
Yeah, I just do a few quick examples and ask them if it matched their vision. Michelle says everyone has their own perceptions. It's not the easiest thing to convey imagination. Manfred MS-DOS says, that is not what I mean. It's basically this guy has done a lot of work for nothing.
Well, it's not for nothing. Trust me, I'm being paid very handsomely for my paintings. None of this is for nothing. If what they can afford to pay you doesn't match up to the amount of work that you have to do to reach their goal, that's your fault, not theirs. Draw faster. In the time it took me to draw this, you're talking, I drew this in what? I probably hit the drawing table at 1 o'clock in the morning, and by 3:30 I was done. Yeah.
What he explains is what happened with Matt Groening and The Simpsons.
I don't know about that. So anyway, I drew this kid, and they loved it. It worked. It's the right age, the right cocky kind of look. I gave him his little monster that he has in the original one, but now, since he's older, he's taller. The monster doesn't get smaller, but it lands lower on his body. And what does this do? This you have to understand that this isn't just a drawing of the kid. And the reason that the monster's in there is because every image that they have of that boy in their books has this little monster next to it. And the monster sits about that high on that kid. So now when you look at it and you're familiar with the character, as they are, when they see this little guy, it's going to give this guy scale. And he's going to look taller and older. So here's that guy. So then I figure out exactly what I want to do with him. So I did a silhouette of what he would be here. And then I have this portal, which is the... Can you see that? Mm-hmm. Which is the idea of he brings nightmares to life through this portal. And since he's getting older and more powerful in the game, and because I love games and I love being part of the game, I wanted to add something more to it. So what I did is I decided that as he's gotten older, not only can he bring his nightmares to life, but when you go up against him, he brings your nightmares to life. Now, for you gamers out there, imagine now you have this boss character you have to go up against, and he's going to use your fears against you, so you'd have to roll, a savings throw to see what is it called, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you'd have to roll to see exactly how much of your nightmare comes back at you and how bad it hurts you. So what I did is I put this little boy upside down here and a little girl here. They're kind of possessed, caught in the nightmare. And then these are all beasties from their game. I took the monsters from their game, but honestly, their drawings, I hate to put anybody down. I'm not like that. I don't want to just rip people to shreds. But let's just say the drawings of their characters were all computer generated, kind of over modeled, no texture, everything's plastic. So, and I had an example of him. I think he's over here. Take a look over there for the squid face guy.
It's right there. He's right
no, the theirs, not mine. I got mine right here.
Where is it? Is it in the book?
It was on that clipboard you broke.
Oh, then it's right here.
Here we go. Okay, so I printed out, which is funny because I wound up printing out all these things, and then we went to the company and they gave me every book under the sun, so I didn't need any of it. So here you go. This is right behind him here. I wanted this character. He's one of their nightmare characters. And, he's cool. He's got 3 tentacles and eyeball and really awkward hands. So before, I wanted an approval. So what I did is I did a quick drawing of how I would draw this character. Can you see that? Mm-hmm. Both of them? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I just wanted him to see what I would do with it. So I drew him real quick. And of course I added some, he's got more spiky teeth out of his tentacles, and they're more drippy, and there's more.
That is so cool. It's also a brilliant plot. Stage is set for so many cool stories.
Thanks.
And they were talking while you were talking about how people do preliminary sketches and projects, and then I'm paraphrasing, and then those things get published, and when they're not supposed to because they're just prelims, and then people come under fire for it, like Matt Groening and The Simpsons, or Pac-Man, as the examples were. And Jen says, yeah, these are Tommy's sketches, quote unquote, not your average sketches. Ha ha ha. If they are paying him for his time, then it's all good. It's part of designing a concept. And
yeah.
So MS DOS said, so always give a finished product to people who pay. Kung says, also true if you're auditioning for a title or apprenticeship. And MS DOS says, yeah, that's what I mean. People always nag to see your work stage. Tachko says, really sinister looking.
So anyway, here's the little girl. And again, I can hand
Hold
this...
that a little closer because it is a smaller piece, so they can actually see a little bit better what I'm talking about.
This was my initial sketch just to show them the premise, but it's not enough. Not to me, it's not enough. This little girl, I want you to know that she's going to look kind of demonic and that her eyes are going to be glowing. And I need that to come across because I don't want to go through the act of painting it. Because again, I paint like a man, so I get paint and paintbrushes. It's not a layer that I could just go click and it's gone. So if it's messed up, I got to start all over again. So here's the little girl. So what I did is I drew a quick sketch of the little girl. Now she's at a different angle, and I don't know why I did that. I just probably by accident. But I wanted to show you that she has barbed wire around her. She's got the floating upside down teddy bear, and her eyes are sunken in, and the mouth's all kind of distorted. There's still proper lighting and molding, and you could see the cast shadow and reflective light and going in. And remember, where you see light, that shows color and texture. Where you see dark, that gives form. So shadows create form, light shows texture and color.
Jen says, so what you're telling me is you are drawing Sophia when she's hungry.
Mm-hmm. So here's all of this. So all of this comes together, and I'll show you my full sketch. This is what size I decided to go with. Comes out to 24 by 30. So here's the full piece. And what I did is I photograph it, and I own the big Canon printer that I make all my large prints on. So this is a printout to test the size and see if it's going to work. How big is the kid going to be now? So this would be the what the finished painting size would be.
Kung asks, could you hold the last sketch up to the camera of her being hungry, that is?
Sure.
Demonic girl.
Yep, hold on. How's that?
Perfect.
Now, remember, I sell all of these. So, for those of you, asking, you do so much work to get to the finished piece, every one of these will be grabbed up. People go after my pencils like crazy. And again, I put a lot of work into it, but if you look at any of the great masters, they did too. And anything worth doing is worth doing well. You should I put 120% into everything.
Tachko goes, oh cool, thank God you have a copy you can print out.
So then what we did is I transferred it to what is the paper called that I paint on? That one's a Strathmore
Gemini.
Okay, so I
500 series, I believe.
I transfer it to a Strathmore Gemini paper, and I lightboxed it actually. So I lightboxed it so that I can draw all the characters in detail, because what they were on the sketch was not detailed. That was just telling me where they would go. Now I draw the whole thing out, completely render everything, and then I do a technique that was used. Slide that in there, please.
Yes, of course. You're going to want to take
I have
that
to.
out.
I use a technique that was used by the pre-Raphaelites and isn't often done anymore. You know, and I get a lot of questions about it and have lectured at a lot of colleges on how to do it. And here we go. So here, I can go up a little bit on my wooded one.
Yeah, but the camera's already cutting most of it off. The top of his nose is cut off, and...
So what can you see?
So you can see from here
to
here.
Oh, okay.
The important stuff.
All right, so here is the piece. And the board, after I put on the Gemini, it's actually glued down to masonite. So this is a hard board. So there'll be no fluctuation, and it's glued with spray 77, and both layers have to be sprayed down and then put together, and you get one shot. If you mess it up, you're toast. It won't peel back up. You can't lift it and reset it. So if anybody's ever done anything like this, you know how hard it is. So Sammy and I, we've done it many, many times, and we still mess it up.
Let's see. Blind Coyote Studio says, I've been meaning to get more into traditional works. Been working on a lot of big digital illustrations lately. Jesslyn goes, wait, how big is y'all's light box? Gosh dang.
My light box is 11 by 17, so I just moved it around. I flipped it over. I basically did 4 corners.
Yeah, and I told her his light box is only 11 by 17. And Blind Coyote continued, said it's just expensive to get started from nothing to do more traditional work.
Actually, it's not. It's not. Anybody that's interested in doing traditional work, look at my supply list. You can go to Hobby Lobby or to Michael's, and they sell watercolor kits.
Yep.
The large pads that look like this. Here's 2 pads. See that pad?
There you go, that main camera.
See these pads? See how they're like bigger than a quarter. A little bit bigger than a quarter. When you go to there, they sell kits for about $10. Sometimes they even sell them for about $5. There's a watercolor kit that's got like 30 small... What is this right here?
That was from Michael's.
It's from Michael's, and it was like $5.
Yeah, it came with another 2 pieces, I think.
No.
Oh,
it's just this and a clear plastic on top. This was like $5, and this right here will give you 50 paintings. Well, I have so many different watercolor kits. Now you want to talk about... I'll tell you a story. Sammy, move these, please. You can just take both of them out of there. First time I met with Frank Frazetta, he was talking to me about watercoloring. And I said, what kind of watercolors do you use? Because I knew he had to have some kind of special.
Nathan's on. Say hi to Nathan.
Oh, hi, Nathan.
The owner of WYRD.
Yeah, that's the only Nathan I know.
Okay, I was just letting everybody else know as well.
So, I'm sitting with Frank Frazetta, and I'm thinking he must have some kind of magical watercolor kit, because he couldn't do that with just any watercolor kit. And I asked him what he used. He said, I don't know, use some little Mickey Mouse set. And it turns out, now this isn't the exact set, but I found this one. He pulled out a little watercolor set like this.
You can show it to that camera on the side.
Little tin. Look at this.
Damn.
Right? I mean, this little baby kit.
Coyote says, oh wow, yeah, it would be cool to do some wildlife illustrations on masonite/canvas.
Yeah, you could always glue canvas down to masonite.
We've done that.
And, I mean, your best bet is just to get a container of gesso and then take masonite, sand the masonite, gesso it, and do... What?
Nathan says, hey, Tommy, geeking out. Continue your gesso.
So,
and then
you could gesso it and then paint right on top. Now, what you're looking at here is what I just finished last night. This is the monochromatic wash. So this was all in pencil. You could still see pencil lines in there. You know, you could see... In his hair. See pencil. Some of the pencil was a little darker than others. So what I did here is this is where you shape everything. This is where everything gets texture and form. This guy looks round. Is he round? No, it's flat. Flat as hell. But he looks round because I take from dark to mid to light to mid to dark to, you know, pitch dark. And it creates form. This guy comes forward because this guy goes back. You know, and the light is hitting the edge of this here. So that comes out later. Look at the hand. Look how... Can you see the hand?
Scooch the painting over a little to the right first.
Hold on, I gotta move this stuff.
Justin says, now I need that one. And Fatal says, I'm in love with this. Or Fina, rather.
So
I'm in love with this.
So here you go. Can you see the hand?
Much better. Yes, you can see the whole painting side to side.
Okay. So here, you know, this is the guy, Lord Chompy Bits. And I like him a lot, but I needed him to be powerful. He's super strong. So you don't get that by just, you know, he has to have weight. It has to feel heavy. And feel like if that hand swiped you, there'd be nothing left. And there's pillows and Kermit the Frog and a angry monkey and there's a ham sandwich in the front.
Jesslyn says, underpaintings, values, and textures are shit I need to learn.
Yeah. Well, this is the complete underpainting, which now, what I'll show you tonight, we're going to do glazing over this. So what that means is this has been sitting all night. So it's dry to bone. And you could tell when you come over it, when you touch it, just because it feels dry doesn't mean it's dry. What?
Nathan says, I've been looking for that damn frog for over a week. Because I told him when I sent him the original sketch, the final sketch. Do you want to end his suffering?
Nathan, do you want to know where he is?
Don't forget, there's a delay, so keep talking and then I'll give you his response.
So, anyway, I do the entire underwashing. You have to let it bone dry. So it should feel almost a little, I guess the best way to explain it would be like a little furry. You know, you should be able to feel it. And again, you know, I'm always preaching.
He says, God, yes.
I'm always preaching traditional. Kermit the Frog's right there.
Well, can we angle it so you can see it a little better?
Yeah, where'd my board go?
What board?
It was right here. The piece of wood. Did you move it?
No, it's right to your right or your left.
There's one. Okay, here. I'll raise the painting.
There you go.
Okay. He's Nathan is the owner of the company for WYRD, and I told him that I often hide Kermit the Frog in a lot of my paintings. I met Jim Henson when I was younger, and he wanted to hire me, and I was so excited. I floated out of there. I wanted to be part of the Muppets so bad, and then he passed away. I never got my chance to. And like many people my age, you know, the Muppets were I remember getting my pajamas on and sitting down to watch the show before I'd go to bed. And I became, you know, Kermit makes me happy. So I have many. Even some that you're not supposed to be able to own.
Nathan says, "I'll be damned. It's alright. Blew it up on the screen on the one that I have." Mm-hmm. Shai says, "Do you do the underpaintings with watercolor or acrylic?"
Okay, this underpainting right here is done with acrylic. And the reason for that is I do not want the underpainting to move. So I do it with acrylic so that I can wash over it with, I'm going to try an opaque watercolor, which I have right next to me. But even if I come back over with acrylic, now that it's set, now that it's been drying for a day, the underpainting won't blend with the color, so it won't mix. It'll glaze on top, which you have to understand what glazing is.
Which you're going to explain.
Which I'm going to explain. So, imagine, look at this guy right here. Look at Mike Wazowski's brother.
What's Mike Wazowski's brother's name?
Florp.
Florp Wazowski?
Yep. When I lay a color over him, it'll be a thin membrane of color. And that'll be one glaze. And then that'll set, and then I'll put another layer of color on top. And the way that we see light, we see color, is through other colors because we're playing with light. And I'm doing this. I'm mimicking the same thing with paint. And the reason that anybody that's looked at my illustrations, they have the full paintings like this have a kind of luminescence. They have a certain depth that people don't seem to be able to get because they don't paint like this because it's just not even taught anymore. You know, when I was a professor for almost 14 years, and I would often teach this, and none of the other professors would teach this because it's just not, it's old world, it's difficult, it's time consuming, and it's completely unforgiving. You mess up here, you're toast. And you got to start all the way back. So a lot of people don't have the guts or the fortitude to do it. Me, I'm all guts.
Shakar says, "I know how to glaze."
Good. So when you put the glazing down, the painting will just have that much more depth. Every layer will have that much more to it. And that's why I like this. And it also gives an incredible original. And like all of you know that collect my paintings, the originals don't seem to exist very much anymore. Everybody wants the computer. Everybody wants easy, quick. But ask yourself this: when was the last time you saw something that was truly amazing and it was easy and quick? If it was easy and quick to make amazing things, everybody'd be able to make them.
I'm inspiration.
It's pretty good, Sam.
It's pretty good.
Sammy's wearing, she walked into the studio. Since I'll be doing more fantasy stuff, I'm not going back to comics, I'm just sticking with the gaming. Decided to pick up some helmets. Can I have the helmet for a second?
Oh, I guess you can have it, yes.
So here's one of them.
I picked it out.
Here's one.
I just thought it'd be funny to stick my head in.
They are metal. There you go, take that.
Oh, we got a lot of comments. Okay, my heart is bursting with happiness listening to Tommy talk. Michelle says he sounds so much happier. Poodle says, "You said it." Jesslyn says, "I did a dumb thing before and tried to glaze over watercolor." Well,
you can glaze over watercolor.
Nathan says, "Spear and magic helmet." Yeah. I just think it's funny that I think I should just come in with a different headpiece every so often, poke my head in.
We need a third camera on the whole room.
Yeah, right?
So anyway, now this process takes a while. Again, it is not quick, and it sure the hell ain't easy. Now, what I would say to anybody new to this is at this point I'd photograph this and make a copy. And then I would, a small copy. And then I would do a color rough. I would tell people to do color roughs so that, they don't screw up and get something they totally don't want.
They want a Sammy cam.
Yeah.
Jesse says, what color of acrylics did you use to underpaint? It's what I dub Tommy Brown.
It is burnt sienna and raw umber. And they're right here, right next to me, actually. So here's your burnt sienna.
You could put it to the main. It's on the main.
Here's your burnt sienna. Here's your raw umber. Now, my endorsement is through Holbein Paint. And just like the game that I decided, the company I decided to work with, WYRD, I won't use anything that I don't believe in, 100%. I have a stack of games over there, companies that asked me to do stuff for them, and I took it home. I read everything. I looked at people's responses to their games online, and I just felt that they were, they didn't really embody all the things that I believe.
Shai says, how do you glaze with watercolor or over a watercolor underpainting? I don't know how to do that.
If you're gonna glaze over a watercolor, you just you have to realize it's gonna take a lot of time.
A lot of drying time.
And you use a blow dryer. So you put down the color, you blow dry it until the paper's actually hot. Mm-hmm. And that'll set it in. And you don't use a ton of water.
Yeah, that'll activate the sizing in it, because the sizing in watercolor paper is what allows you to reactivate the color as well.
Now everybody has to ask, what is sizing?
Sizing is actually when they put it in the paper pulp, it's an additive that they put to the paper to help keep the pigment where you place it, so it doesn't bleed out all over the place. Because most watercolor paper, most art paper has some amount of cotton in it, whether it's 5% cotton fiber, 10, 20%. So all art paper has sizing in it to keep the pigment where you place it.
Okay, now I'll show you this, because I know that when I was learning, I would have found this very interesting and helpful. This is a little traveling Jerry's Artorama, which for a while I did a lot of work with Jerry's, so I have a lot of their stuff. But this is a little traveling watercolor palette. See, look. And when I went to do the wash, I took I was just looking for one. I have a stack of these plastic little styrofoam makeup palettes from Sammy.
But it's higher and stop moving it around so much.
It's super flexible little palette, so you can't just use it on your own. So I took the lid and I taped it into the lid.
Okay.
And that way I can hold this. This will stay more rigid, and I get this to use.
Let's see here.
And that way, when I'm done, I just
toss it away.
All good.
MS-DOS. I did digital art for a while until I found out I'm way faster with Copics. Justin says, going all Bob Ross on us. Poodle Mama says, we all had those colors in our Crayola box and probably didn't know how to use them properly. MS-DOS says, yeah, correct. Many art media are more flexible than we thought when we were young.
Now, something that most people don't get is there's actually no black on this. So, and there's never any black in my palette. So you'll never see, you know, a pile of black paint. No blacks. We make the black. So let's start laying down some color. Now this character is from their story as well. So I'm going to look them up real quick and see what color they made them. Now they have what looks to me the same colorist on everything. And so a lot of their characters are colored the exact same color as other ones. I don't see them.
Which one are you looking for?
Mike Wazowski's cousin. You printed me out one of him. Well, I could look them up in the book too. So again, I'm not looking to copy the guy's coloring because I will never do that.
Yeah, weird.
But I just want to make sure that you know, he's not a particular standout color, but when I paint him,
There's Mike Wazowski.
nobody's gonna know what he is. There he is. Okay.
And that doesn't have any yellow in it because the yellow ran out. So that's not an accurate color. Because there's no yellow. Do you want to see it digitally? I can pull it up digitally on email.
Go ahead.
Okay.
So he's got like a red eye. And it looks like he's kind of purpley blue.
Nathan says, yeah, keeps continuity. Tons of different line guys, though. Nah, need some Tommy on this one.
So what I'm going to use, and here's the guy. That's their version. That's my version. Okay. I'm going to use
Oliver, what are you doing, boy?
a
I love you.
Japanese kid. Can you see that?
Yes, lift it up a little bit more. That is the Kiritake Gansai Tambi 36 color watercolor set. I'll link it. You can buy it on Amazon for $30.
Now, the thing about it is, these colors are a lot different than American kits. These are super vibrant and, you know, go down more as
Well, they're meant to be.
an acrylic than they're going to go down as a watercolor.
Do you want me to find the stuff for you, or
It's all right. I don't need it.
no? Okay.
Now, when you get brushes and you start painting traditionally, this is where people go bankrupt. Because they don't want to clean their brushes and keep everything clean and organized. So, some of my brushes are 10, 15 years old, and they look like they just came off the shelf. So when I'm done, all the brushes get cleaned down, they get reshaped. There's sizing that goes onto the tip, and it goes back into to my bin here. Those brushes are expensive. Oh, here, and look at this. I'll be dipping in water. This is my water bottle. My dip. Got that at Harry Potter.
What'd you get?
I got that at Harry
The
Potter.
skull.
I got it at
Let's see. Kaito, what do you use to clean?
water, soap, and
Brush cleaner.
brush
Where's
cleaner.
that
Where'd it
little
go?
brush cleaner?
It fell.
Yeah.
It's probably right there.
Let's see.
they'll sell tubs of
Hold on, I'll go get it. The big tub. I know where it is.
brush cleaner.
Kaito says painting from the skulls of your enemies. Awesome.
Now, I just need a piece of paper. You should always put a piece of, blank paper up so that you can test your color. So we're going to start over here with these guys. And this is just a little bit of orange.
This is the brush cleaner that Tommy uses. It's going to be on the side camera. You can read that. It says the Master's Brush Cleaner, and it's the big tub. And preserver.
So here we go, starting a little glazing. So I'm putting the paint down and just moving it around with water.
He says, like the water mug, no one drinks from the skulls of their enemies anymore.
Huh, I do.
Jesslyn says, I use that brush cleaner too. Makes my brushes feel so soft. I swear.
So you see here, I'm going back into my darks with this deep red, and the character's red, so then I come in with the water and pull it out so that it washes over. Hence the term
glazing.
No. You don't want to put it down so heavy that it just covers all the detailed work you did. It's like when people do makeup, horror makeup, and then they cover it with so much blood and gore you can't even see all the work that was done. And you want to work fast. Don't give it a long time to dry. You can dry when the deed is done. And I'm going back and forth with a little bit of orange. And then the red. And I have about 6 different reds on this kit.
And I don't know what they are because they're all in all the writing is in kanji or hiragana.
What?
Here comes Oliver.
And you'll see that the underpainting isn't lifting. I gave it plenty of time to dry.
Yeah, brush Mike. Hey, Tommy and Sammy. So glad you guys are back.
There you go. You see on his face right there? Can you see that?
I can see it.
Now, the biggest mistake I see that people do with any kind of watercolor is trying to force it to do something. You cannot force it to do something. It will not. It's going to do whatever the hell it feels like doing. And you just gotta go with it. It'll be groovy. Be like water. Water finds a way.
Or Oliver. Be like Oliver.
Don't lean on the back of my chair while I'm doing this.
I blame Oliver. It was Oliver.
And again, it's not about getting to the end. It's about enjoying the journey. This is the beautiful part. Looking at a finished painting, now it's done. If you conquer the world too fast, you got no other campaigns to go on. Any questions so far?
No. People are laughing that I said it. Blame Oliver. It was Oliver. LOL. On Earth. LOL. Dance on the canvas, my friend. We got 114 people. Not too shabby for your first night back.
Now, if you did all your work correctly, then you're just washing over. Everything's figured out already in the underpainting. All the work goes into the underpainting.
That angle, while a little sharp over your head, is really good because it allows you to lean into the painting while still seeing what you're painting. It also helps that you can actually see, so that's good too.
Yeah.
Michelle, I have to sign off. My phone's going to die. It looks amazing. Night all. Good night, Michelle. See you Friday. Jesse.
And we're really playing, the one thing that I feel is missing from a lot of their characters and design is texture. Texture makes things more believable. And
Knocker says, hey Tommy, so good to see you're doing well.
Thank you. I'm not as good as I once was, but I am as good as I ever was.
Dakota Country song?
That's right. Now I'm coming in with blue for the shadows.
Why blue?
Well, we have to understand color. When blue goes over red, what does it create?
Purple.
And what color is going to set back the deepest? Deeper than black is going to be purple.
Let's see here. Duke Nuggets. Hello guys, first time here. Damn, you're talented. Greetings from France.
Hey, how's it going? France, huh? That's awesome.
Let's see. Flem would be, Pudamama says, Flem would be here, but he has afternoon swim coaching session. He said to say hey. Let's see. I know there's like purple again. Answering your questions. Jocelyn, I was about to ask if you added more colors into the base glazing or if you just glazed the same colors over and over.
No, the colors alternate.
And Knocker says, can you... Let's see here. Knocker says, can you give me a rundown on WYRD Games? And then Kaito says, I could try and help. What would you like to know?
Did Nathan answer that?
No, Kaito.
Oh. So again, I'm taking a deep purple now and washing over my darks. And all this is done in stages. So, the final stage will be when I come back and put highlights in. And then you'll see a world of difference.
Please, again.
But again, this is a purple. And again, part of the design idea when I'm putting it together is to have the strongest composition possible, but at the same time being able to show you the characters in a large enough spectrum that the company can come in and pull a character out to use it in something else. So for one piece, they get multiple usage out of it.
Angie says, hey, the Louis family. I never can pronounce their last name. Family says, we've missed watching you guys so much. So glad you're back.
Glad to be back. And don't be shy with your colors, too. Be adventurous. Try different stuff. It might even work. Like right now, I'm washing in green. Kind of a minty green.
Angie says, you look so healthy! Shakar, Sammy, I'm going to send you a picture of Tommy in the story I was talking about making.
And you see here in this dark shadow again, now I'm taking my green and washing it over in some areas so that sits back a little different than just the purple. How's it look so far?
It looks excellent.
Now this will take a couple of days for me to do all of this. So it doesn't happen fast.
And we'll be streaming pretty much the whole week on this, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Autofocus off. There we go. Now we got some color. Louis was bummed he missed you while I was at Dad's.
Yeah, he left right as we got home.
Let's see. Kaito was explaining about the company to Knockers, and I laughed and I said, you totally know more than me. Kaito says, I've been playing for a number of years now and occasionally volunteer. Very excited to see this new take on the Dreamer.
Yeah. Well, what I want, I was thinking, I want to get somebody that really knows the game to run a game for us.
Yeah, we don't.
I just don't have the time to learn it all. I want to. And now you got to just let it, I'm going to let it settle and move on to another character.
Inga says, Uncle Tommy and Sammy, oh my god, that painting though. Inga says that.
Painting what?
Oh my god, that painting though. Nice. Oh my god, the painting. Game night at Tommy's. Who said that? Oh, Sean said that. I can't read your name, Sean. Change your color. Justin, how long would you work on glazing in a day?
I could be at the drawing table for... I have been at the table for about 16, 17 hours.
Nathan says, might just have to send you a henchman or two for that. I'm willing to bet we can entice them.
I'm sure.
To run a game.
I could be glazing for, I enjoy it. It's not something that I do. Doing this work isn't a chore or, oh God, I gotta get it done. The reason I chose this is because it is exactly the kind of stuff that I love. Who won't want to wake up to draw this guy?
Emily says, hi, Tommy and Sammy. It's Emily.
Hi, Emily. Now here, you'll see the glazing a lot more on this when I just wash in the green.
Yeah, I upped the saturation so we could see the colors a little easier because those mint greens are kind of hard to see.
Huh?
Let's see here. Inga says, I'm in sculpting class this year. Oh, thanks for the host, guys, by the way. I just saw another person hosting us. Thank you very much. And to those of you joining us, the disembodied voice you are now hearing belongs to Tommy's wife, Sammy. Obviously, Tommy can't read the chat as he is painting, so you get my MC skills. Yes, pink's better, Sean. Thank you.
Now, again, the fella that they had coloring all these in the game, he's coloring spot illustrations. It's not like he's just coloring one big piece. So he's being very consistent, which is great. But when you put all those characters together, and they're all the same color, doesn't work very well for a single illustration.
Unearth says, I love this. Screaming of tortured souls as demons laugh.
Pretty much.
And Free Pegasus says, hi, Tommy. Glad you're back. Love the hair.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's been a while since everybody has seen Tommy. But he has a mohawk now. It's a Viking mohawk. We were going to spike it up, but it would be so tall it would hit the camera. That wouldn't work out very well for us.
So again, I'm putting down, a variety of colors. Then I'll let it dry.
Lean your head back just a smidge, honey, if you can.
And I'll glaze over him again, because he's also red.
There you go.
Reddish, purpley guy.
Liesel says, hi, Tommy and Sammy.
Hi. Who said that?
Liesel.
Oh, Liesel.
Hi, Liesel. You're getting into the area where your head is blocking, just to let you know.
I don't know.
Get your big fat head out of the way, honey. I love you.
What?
Perry says, spike it up and put a camera in his hair. Get the Tommy eye view. We could put the hard part is we put a GoPro on your head, but It doesn't stream. Finger says, that hair is rad. Oh, Oliver, I love you. Yes, thank you, Oliver. Oh, thank you.
And I get asked a lot, and I honestly can't even tell you. When people ask me, how do you choose what color to do next? You know? And I'd like to say there's this in-depth reason why. But I'm just kind of doing it on instinct. I laid down the green, but I don't want it to just be green. So to counter the green, I laid down a kind of mustard yellow. And different colors react different ways. So once I got my mustard yellow.
You're putting the mustard yellow on top, or you put that underneath the green?
It's on top of the green. The green was the base color.
Got it. Poodle Mama, this is amazing. I only saw Tommy drawing and painting blind. Don't get me wrong. I love my blind Tommy paintings, but this is just so freaking special.
And wait until you see. I'm so excited. There are so many incredibly cool characters that I'm going to get to paint that it's awesome. It's like you get to go into somebody else's house and play with all their toys.
Yeah.
You know?
See, MS DOS says that green to brown fade reminds me of the good old Commodore 64.
The green what?
The green to brown fade.
Oh, yeah. I didn't have a Commodore 64. See, now on the eye here, the only bad part about painting a red eye is that you can't take advantage of what makes an eye look cool. And that is called painting in the blood. Now, painting in the blood is when you add red to elbows, to cheeks, noses, anything that bends and creases, blood collects at. And we call it painting in the blood. So with this eye, if I don't leave that little bit of white right there, then when I come in and put this vein on the eyes, like these little veins, you just wouldn't get them.
Let's see, the C64 has only 16 colors and there is no dark green, so everyone faded to the darker brown.
So I'm washing into my shadows right now this red. And that's going to make the dark set back. If you use black, a lot of beginners will just paint with black. And then they'll wonder why their painting looks so flat.
Jesse says, it's so weird to go from watching Tommy throw paint around and using charcoal, doing 3 or more pieces in a couple of hours, to the thought of him painting one painting over a series of days. My mind needs to adjust.
Well.
Thanks, Playing in the Mud, for the hosting. And hello to the 50 new viewers. Poodle Mama says, me too. Inga, Uncle Tommy, the advice you gave me for drawing humans has made significant improvements to my drawings. I even started to develop my own art style.
Good.
Thooker says, welcome back, you old fart. Thank you, and welcome back. It's good to be back, right, honey?
It is good to be back. I can't describe to you what it's like to be back. But with all the bad things that have happened, the going blind, the kidney,
Thanks for the follow, KP.
well, it's been a blessing because I've been able to learn things and see things that people never get to see. My favorite movie, one of them, has always been It's a Wonderful Life. And I never thought I'd get to live it. But lose everything. Lose everything that you hold dear. Lose what defines you. And then you find out what your priorities really are. Things that I thought were important don't mean crap. And other stuff that I didn't even know existed is there.
So are you using a watercolor brush?
No, it's an acrylic brush.
It's an acrylic brush? Did you pick it for a specific reason, or it was the one closest?
No, I actually picked it because it is the one that I just was painting with last night when I was... Oh, there's a couple more paintings that I did. Commissions that were owed.
We'll finish him and then we'll take a break,
Yeah.
and you can show him.
And I was using this brush last night. It's a comfortable brush. It's a good size.
I think it's a round, like a 8 or 6 round. Right?
Something like that. But honestly, some of my favorite brushes are crappy
$4 brushes.
$4 cheap throwaway brushes.
Well, you did some of the underpainting with those.
I did most of this underpainting with this brush.
Yeah.
But again, it's the riddle of steel. It's not the tool, but the hand that wields it. What was
Ghosts. Batman decided that he wanted to move his.
Wayne never came for his dog, huh?
Are you kidding?
Did he come for the dog?
Yes. Dog hasn't been here for hours.
I don't remember seeing him.
You were asleep.
That's probably why.
No, the Batmobile's slim. Clearly, Batman wants attention.
And right now, it looks like dark green's going down, but it's actually blue. But I know that because I'm laying it down over the yellow, my blue, not my blue,
Yeah.
my blue is going to turn to a dark green.
Thooker says it looks like a Princeton brush. The
No.
one that in your hand. I think it is.
Might be.
Yeah. Princeton. Round.
Yep, it's a round.
I don't know what size. Probably like a 6 or an 8. It's actually pretty small. Uh-oh. Here we go.
I have.
Ooh. Give me there. There we go.
I probably have 200 brushes.
Woozy wants to give you a kiss. She's like, I don't like this.
And that's just because.
Okay.
You
And
know,
Sammy, I'll send you a few pictures via text of one of my sculptures in a sec.
every chance I got, I'd buy more brushes.
Let's see. MS DOS says, pixeling on the 64 got me into Photoshop later, and Photoshop got me into traditional art. More traditional artists should stream their art.
Well, unfortunately for me, most artists can't work under surveillance.
How is that unfortunate for you?
I said fortunate for me.
Oh, you said unfortunate.
Oh,
Oh my
unfortunate for them. Well, it's just like, you go somewhere and you meet artists and they can't draw while you're standing there.
Iris Score says, good work, sir.
And here, now I'm washing in with purple going into my shadows. I'm pushing those midtones back down again. Remember, all you're doing
Your head's in the way. Thank you.
is playing with light and shadow.
If we could just do something about your head, this is a perfect angle. You should just.
I don't need it.
You don't need it.
I
Your
hardly
arm
use
does
it.
all the work.
Yeah.
I don't know what your brain's got to do with it. Your arm does all the work.
Who said my brain's in my head?
You said it, not me. For the record, we have witnesses. 135 of them. Thanks for the follow, Mad Dog.
Now, I'm going to use a similar color on this tentacle because, I want to make sure that you realize it's still part of him.
I love how the purple just really deepens that shadow.
Mm-hmm.
Just really pulls it back.
That is the idea.
Nathan wants to know, he's going to be putting out a newsletter for people to watch us.
Yes.
What days this week? Every day?
Yeah, pretty much every day.
Okay.
Unless something happens.
Buddha Mama, I have to go and have dinner with the hubby. See you next time. Love you guys. I'll watch the finish in the video.
Well.
Will do. We'll be back tomorrow. 7 o'clock. Ish. Give or take 10 minutes. Ish. Right?
Yep. Yeah, that purple hits and it really just...
That's an awesome purple.
drops it back. Yeah.
What? I don't even know what purple that is. It's like an Alzerian kind of purple.
Mm-hmm.
It's very... The purple he's using is kind of like a dark magenta. Hey guys, it's George. Looks great. Love the color. I guess we gotta stop talking about George now.
Oh, God, George is here now.
That George guy.
God.
Jeez.
And on a side note, for those of you that haven't seen it, George that just came on just put out his first book. And it's pretty awesome. So go check it out and get a copy of his book from him. Georgie, put a link up to where they could get your book. It's very cool.
I forgot to show him the gift that WYRD gave us. Haha, I knew it. What color was the underpainting done with? Is it acrylic? Booker wants to know. Do you want me to answer for you?
Yeah.
The underpainting is acrylic. It's a mix between, I call it Tommy Brown. It's a mix between burnt sienna and raw umber, which are the paints sitting next to him, which you can't see. Let's see. Since when are you painting? I'm assuming that means how long you've been painting.
I've been painting for 28 years.
Yeah?
But if you mean now, I just...
An hour and 40 minutes?
Yeah.
You've been streaming?
Yeah, something like that.
Awesome, thanks.
Yeah.
So, we were at WYRD for like 8 hours. And, they actually gifted me, so it's in my studio, but they gave us a voodoo doll, a custom voodoo doll. And he jumped out of my hand.
Get away from my painting.
He jumped out of my hand. Everybody saw it.
Okay, so if you look here, see I'm dropping in this dark, and it looks black, but it's actually just a very deep purple. I think it's an indigo purple. And it's actually going to look a lot blacker than black. And this is why a lot of people don't use this technique. And it's because I'm basically painting the painting again. But like I said, you'll never get this luminescence to your work if you don't put the time and effort in. And no friggin' computer program will ever be able to do this.
Thanks for the follow. We now have 583 people.
Fantastic.
Our goal is 600. So we need 17 more people.
And you'll see, like,
Hi, Mason.
like right here. Let's do this part. It'll completely cut out the shape. Because again, shape is dictated by shadow.
What color did you put on there? Is that a blue?
No, it's an indigo purple.
Ooh, pretty. Also doing this relies heavily on knowledge of color. Because you have to understand how the colors are going to interact with each other when you lay them on top of each other.
Or put them next to each other.
Or put them next to each other, yes.
Well, I was lucky. When I began in high school, my teacher, Dan Iorio, which was fantastic. I really hope Dan gets to watch these. I gotta call him and tell him to watch them. But he insisted over and over and over that I know every damn thing about color, you know, the history. If I was gonna paint with something, I didn't just have the paint. I had to make the paint.
Let's see.
And I thought he was killing me at the time. I just did not know the gifts he was giving me.
Thooker asks, or the Ooker asks, is that a grisaille painting technique? If I said that right.
Gazelle?
Yeah, Grisail.
Yes, very much so.
I think I said that right. I don't think I did, though. I did my best.
Now, there's tons of different ways to paint. You don't have to paint like me. This isn't the right way to do it. It's just a way to do it.
It's the right way for you.
Yeah, it works for me. So you see now, again, these two guys are in their books painted the exact same color.
Yeah, that purpley green.
Mm-hmm.
Be careful how low you do that, because as soon as you lean in, you're going to block the whole canvas.
I've let this guy dry a bit. Now I want to come back in and just hit the darks. Kick those shadows back a little bit more. And by creating more shadow, I make the highlights brighter.
Yay, Tommy, how long have you been an artist, and how long did it take you to be a god at drawing and painting? Mason asks.
A god, huh? I've been an artist for 28 years.
You gotta raise that up a little bit, honey. It's way too low.
I've been an artist for 28 years. I started when I was 16 years old, and I got into a bad bicycle accident. I used to ride bikes professionally, doing freestyling tricks on the bikes, and I got stuck in a wheelchair and told me I'd never walk again. Permanent nerve damage. And if anybody meets me in person, they'll see that I limp pretty bad. So I spent 8 years learning to walk again. That was my first time going through crap.
Nathan's wife says, Mama Weird says, evening guys, it's looking wonderful. Can't wait to see it in person. Victoria got much love for you both.
So,
say hi.
Hi.
There you go. Cool. What tricks did you know on the bike?
Everything. I rode professionally. Took first place in Madison Square Garden. I did everything.
Let's see. Ira says, in this 28 years, how many different styles did you try out? I gave examples: American comic, Japanese manga, European comics, and more.
Actually, I did not. I'm not that.
What do you look for?
I don't know how to put it, but I'm not that kind of artist. I never went and tried out different styles of different people. I went completely traditional. The teacher that taught me trained me as if I was a pre-Raphaelite. So I started out, learning to draw. It wasn't until...
Head.
Too bad you gotta hold on.
Head, move! Huh? No? Okay.
No, so...
Zombie Soul says, love your artwork. Really beautiful.
And I didn't grow up as an artist. So I didn't have the hang-ups that most artists have. And I never believed the bull crap that I was special and, everything I did was perfect. I worked on it like it was, a job. And it's just a job I really wanted to do. So, I tried a bunch of different stuff. I was really moved by the symbolists. So I painted a lot of stuff that would fit into that category. But I never tried to mimic anybody. I never wanted to be a bad version of somebody else. I just wanted to be a great me. There's people that I really admired at different times. I was a huge Dolly fan for a while.
Head. You're blocking the whole thing. They're looking at the back of your head.
Well, sometimes that's going to happen.
I don't want to watch the back of your head painting.
Switch cameras.
I can't, because it's a different angle. So I'd have to readjust that camera. Let's see here. Zombie Soul says 1% talent, 99% hard work and practice.
Yeah.
Jesse says, did Frank Frazetta do underpainting?
Frank Frazetta's paintings are underpaintings.
Expand on what you mean by that.
Pretty much his entire painting is just an underpainting. Unfortunately, it's why a lot of scholars, don't commend his work, because it is breathtaking and beautiful. But as for the technique, you know, it's an underpainting with highlights. But I'd like to see anybody else do an underpainting like that with highlights.
Right? Let's see here. Zombie Soul says, great advice. Mason wants to know, did you ever take classes on the artwork, of course?
Huh. Yeah, I did. I took when I went to Brookdale Community College, I signed up. What? What are you laughing at?
Poodle Mama says, it's been so long. I love looking at the back of Tommy's head, LOL. Because your giant head is covering everything you're painting.
I signed up for some drawing classes.
Let's see if we can remove this.
And then after being in the class, the
I don't know if that helps or not.
teacher wind up using mine as the example so much that he used to leave the classroom and let me teach it. So I was actually teaching the damn class I was taking, which I just thought was ridiculous.
So you basically paid to teach it?
Yep.
Perry says, oh, that Dolly reference explains the blow dryer use. Poodle Mama, JC agrees with Poodle Mama about watching the back of your head.
Sorry.
Let's see. What kind of classes, or did you ever take private classes?
Private classes? No.
Dude, that monster at the top is sick.
No, for me it was mainly trial and error. I had help. You know, I would meet up with Frazetta, and he would tear my stuff to pieces, tell me how much everything sucked, and then I'd go home and work on whatever he told me sucked, so I got it right. When he stopped telling me I sucked, I knew I got it right. What?
Louis being a shit. Sammy's hand, it's like seeing the boom mic in a live TV show. I was adjusting the thing. Dun, dun, dun. I know, I broke your immersion.
Nathan's still on there?
I don't know. Nathan, are you still on there? You know they can hear you when you say that, right?
Shut up. I used to get advice from guys like Mike Kaluta.
Nathan says, oh yeah, watching and enjoying. Now you can't see it, but he's pretty much just taking color right out of the palette and placing it onto the painting. He's not mixing it with another color. It's just the straight color. He's layering it directly onto the onto the painting. So it's just color on top of color. No pre-mixing. Yeah. Oh, look. We're at 593 out of 600 followers.
Cool. Well,
Mason brought it to my attention. He's like, so close to the goal of 600. What are we doing for 600? I forget.
well, now I made a promise. I plan on keeping it. After I'm done with this, I'm gonna do.
Explain more about the promise and why.
When
I
I
remember
was
what you're talking about.
when I was completely blind, so many people came to my aid that I could never thank them. Never thank them enough. But I made a promise to the dark. You know, you get those moments. I'm not a praying type of person. What are you laughing at?
Could you say that a bit more nasty?
You just keep laughing.
That's because people are saying funny things.
Tell me what they're saying. Don't just
Well,
sit there
I
and
don't want to
laugh.
just interrupt you. Can't tell we're married. Nathan says at 600, Sammy does the happy dance. Would you mix on the painting in the same way instead of a palette if you were using oils?
Yes. Yep.
Continue about your when we hit 600.
So I kind of made a promise. I wanted to thank people. Thank everybody for all their help and kind words. And so I decided I was going to paint, a dozen paintings and just give them away. So when I'm done with this, I plan on doing 12 paintings and then kind of just giving them away to you guys. My way of thanking the universe for giving me my sight back.
Head. Let's see here. I missed it. Oh, Into Art says, so nice to see the real Tommy in action. So happy that you guys are back and rocking it. Ira says, is this a full-time job, what you do?
Yes.
We got a lot of new people on the channel. That's why people keep asking the same questions.
Okay, here, I'll give you a quick rundown. For those of you that are new, my name is Tommy Castillo. I have been a professional illustrator for 28 years. What that means is for the last 28 years, I've made my entire income off of my art. Now, some of those years were pretty damn poor, and there wasn't much of an income to make, but I still did it. So every bill, every scrap of clothing for the last 28 years has been purchased or paid with my art, or the selling of my art. I am published in a crap ton of stuff.
Over 700 different publications.
Yeah, so over 700 different publications. So if you're an artist, you would know my work probably from my Strathmore covers. So Strathmore, Bristol, sketch pads, watercolor paper. I'm on the cover of all of those. I'm also very well known for, I did Batman, the comic book, for many years. And stuff like Green Arrow. I worked on projects with George Romero, director, Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead. I worked on Tales from the Crypt. Tales from the Crypt was a canceled, banned book for 40 some odd years, and the first one to come back out was mine. I did the first covers for the new owners, in 40 some odd years.
Let's see here. Poodle Mama. Yeah, I heard him make that promise, but if you pay for the painting, it's great value too. Jesse says that's very generous thing you are doing with the paintings, Tommy. It speaks volumes to your character. Mason says, I felt the same way.
Thank you.
So does this painting still have no black pigment?
None. There's no black in here whatsoever. Does it look black?
The color that you pulled, it's kind of like that gray-brown color that you just pulled.
Mm-hmm.
It looks black on camera.
Looks
but
black.
it's not black.
Oh.
Let's see here. Oh, Mason wants to know, Tommy, what is your favorite thing to paint / art style / scene to do a painting?
That's a good question. And honestly, I don't have anything particular that I like to paint. I love to paint.
Can we
regardless.
raise that or move as you are blocking everything?
So
Get out of there, Oliver.
I just like the act of painting. It's like,
Perfect.
it's like saying I love to read. But I don't want to just read one type of thing. I love to read all different things. I love variety. Love variety. I love when there's more to it.
By the way, anybody watching that has an original that needs to be shipped out to you, I will be shipping those out this week. We did have a bit of a delay because we were inconvenienced by the hurricane the last week, so I got pushed back by about 4 or 5 days while we were prepping and all that fun stuff. Mason says, okay, so you just paint what comes to mind?
Yeah, it counts on the project. For example, when I first began, the first book that came out was called Nightmares in a Sketchbook. And, the idea was just to put out a sketchbook of mine so that I can use it as a portfolio to get work. At the time I didn't really have much. So I took what I really enjoyed. I took a bunch of a lot of psychological problems, and I did artwork with the idea of those psychosis. So I investigated all the different, psychosis and did artwork accordingly, and it matched the title. They were just people's nightmares in my sketchbook. And then I had a girlfriend that had a horse. And for Christmas, I had no money. So I drew her a horse. When her parents saw it, they commissioned me to draw their horses. When their friends saw it, they commissioned me to draw their horses. So for about 3 years, I did a couple hundred horse paintings. These people all wanted their horses painted. Is it what I wanted to do? Hell no. Did I enjoy getting paid to paint? Hell yeah. So I didn't really care what I was painting as long as I got to paint. Because the worst day painting is better than the best day in a friggin' stacking shelves or working in a booth.
Thank you. You gotta tell them, though, the trick to it.
Yeah. The trick was that I actually only drew about 3 horses. Because everybody's horse looks the friggin' same. And I would, I drew one detailed horse, and then when another person came to get a painting, I lightboxed the horse, and painted that horse with just different colors.
Whatever color their
horse was.
Let's see here. Ira says, my dream as a kid was to be a professional artist, but in my land, Swiss, it's not popular. So I taste the real hard life and let the pencil down. I'm very happy to see someone who did it.
Well, it's hard here too. It's hard everywhere. It's a hard thing to do. You sacrifice a lot. I didn't go to every party under the sun. I spent many, 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 many lonely days sitting at a canvas or a piece of paper trying to figure things out. I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again. I never realized how important it was.
It's a good story.
To do the artwork. I thought I was just going out there to draw stuff, monsters, and, draw stuff. My father, his mom died when he was 8 years old. And the only picture he had, they were very poor. The only picture that he had of her was a tiny little postcard picture like this big. That. You go into one of those booths and they print out 5 pictures.
Yeah, like a 1x2.
Yeah. Not even. It was literally like a postage stamp.
Yeah.
It's the only picture him or his brothers had of their mother. And often my father would reference his mother, talking about telling somebody you love them now because you never know when they're gone and you'll miss them when they're gone. So for Christmas one year, I decided I'd take it on to try and do a portrait. So I took the picture my father had of his mother, and I spent weeks, and I mean weeks, drawing this thing, and it came out like crap, 50 times. But on the 51st time, it didn't look like crap. It looked pretty good. So I wrapped it up and I went to give it to my father for Christmas. My mother insisted that I give it to him before everybody got to our house. So my father comes into the kitchen. I'm very nervous because I really want him to like it, and I just don't know if I'm good, if it's crap. And I give it to him, and he looks at it, doesn't say anything. He's in the kitchen. He looks at it. He stands up, and he takes the picture, and he walks out of the kitchen and goes into his office. And I follow, and I can hear him crying. And I tell you, up to that point, I had never heard my father cry. I'd never seen him cry. He just wasn't, not a crying guy. And I thought, wow, I really screwed up. I thought I did something bad. And he came out holding the picture, hugging it, just pulling it to himself. And he came over and he hugged me and he kissed me. And he told me I gave him his mother back. And that's when I learned it was important to do what I do. It's important to, I learned I could bring the dead back to life. I triggered all those memories. It was pretty amazing. And that's when I decided, no matter how hard this was going to be, because it was hard, I was going to do it. I was going to do that. I was going to give that same joy to as many people as I could. Because that's a life worth living. I think I've done pretty well with that. Did my best.
Looker says, listening to Tommy is like reading The Art Spirit by Robert Henry. Or Henri, if it's French. It's spelled with an I, so I'm assuming it's French.
Well, this is all philosophy. Or at least my philosophy. Gonna do something, do it the best you can, and give it everything you got. That way you'll never fail. If it doesn't work, it just didn't work. But you gave it everything you could. And I grew up in a very, very poor town with a lot of woulda, shoulda, coulda. That's my interpretation of people that don't try. I hear it so many times. How many times I've been at my table at a show and somebody come over and I go, oh yeah, I could have done that. I was gonna. That's my favorite.
Thanks for the follow.
Well, that's sad that you didn't get to try. But you know what?
It's never too late.
It's never too late. There's always today. Don't worry about tomorrow. It's always today. If nothing else,
do it for a hobby.
Yeah, paint for yourself. Draw for yourself. You don't have to make a career of this. It doesn't have to be your job. This is just joy. It feels wonderful to draw and paint and make stuff. And who cares what it comes out like? I've heard 1,000 times, oh, it's not right, it's not right. Art is like having a kid. Making a painting is having a kid. And your kid, if your kid was born, no matter how they were born, they'd be perfect. Absolutely perfect. No matter what shortcomings they might have, or disabilities they might have, it'll not change the way that you love them. And that's what art is. You learn to love the mistakes.
So the bad paintings are like disabled children?
Yes. Now, if you notice, I'm not doing real big, broad, like I'm painting a wall. It's a lot of dabbing, a lot of little touching.
Parkan says, Tommy, thank you for sharing. You have helped me understand my brother.
Brother an artist? Or... just curious, how so?
He's a professional artist and he struggles.
Yeah. Hey, man, we all struggle. I've got a friend that went to law school and still hasn't passed the bar in like 6 years. But everything that they want to be a lawyer, and they keep fighting.
See, Pegasus says, I plan to go into the medical field, but I still plan to draw and paint.
Good. Draw and paint. Draw and paint. Now here, I've pulled up a little bit more opaque color, meaning you can't see through it.
Head.
because I want this shadow from his mouth to blend down to the teeth. And it'll create a different type of shadow than the dark on the side.
Parkan says he is driven to create. He has to do it. He can't live without his art.
Yeah. That's the truth. You know, this is something I would do whether I was great at it or I sucked. I would still do it. Might not do it as much, but I would still do it.
MS DOS says, I know someone who is a surgeon, but he's also a great artist.
Mm-hmm. Well, everybody likes Terminator and Avatar and Titanic, and James Cameron is a fantastic illustrator. Mm-hmm. That's what he was first. And then he went on to direct. Went on to be a director.
He used to draw before, went to the medical field, but draws again when he's in the hospital waiting for emergencies. Inga says, Tommy, words of wisdom, 2K16.
Mm-hmm. And as for the struggle, I'd rather live a life struggling to be something than accept mediocrity and, you know, choose to give in and quit and take the easy way.
Jesse says, since I've started painting again, I've given away 3 paintings in the last couple weeks. One was a request from my youngest daughter, and she loved it. Thanks for doing Twitch. You fired up my mind again, and I don't know that I could go back to a life with no painting.
As well, you should not. That sounds fantastic. The whole, big part of the reason I wanted to do this was I see artists all the time. Every show I'm at, I get a ton of artists asking me to look at their work. And, I see so many artists just not even come close to their full potential because there's been so many easy ways given out with the computer and they lost a certain magic. And there's nothing better than throwing some paint down and watching it become alive. And then there's a tangible thing. There's a actual physical thing that you've created. It's not just a file. It's not just a program. It's a physical entity. You bring it to life like a child. You bring something real into the world. But I really wanted to just inspire people to get up and make something.
George says, tell the story how we met. No please, just a demand.
The story of how we met? How George and I met?
I'm assuming. I mean, it's not nearly as awesome as our story. But I'm assuming he means your story.
I met George at MegaCon, I think. He would always bring his work. My friend George there that I told you to go check out his book. He would come to me every year at MegaCon with another big portfolio full of work. And at first it sucked. But there was a lot of potential. A lot of potential. And I liked them. So we would sit and talk. And I'd tell them, this is good, this is bad, do this, do that. And
I'm pretty pleased at this.
And he would go back and do it. And now he's a professional art director at Disney. And he just put out his first book, Tree Monster and Me. It's a collection of short stories with illustrations. You know, one of them is really my favorite would probably be the Frankenstein's. It's all about Frankenstein's failed experiments.
That section?
Yeah, I thought that was cool. I like that concept.
Pegasus says, thank you for the awesome words. They're really helpful.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thanks for the follow. I don't know why that's not updating. Let's restart.
Now, the thing about this paint is just because you put a color down does not mean it's going to stay that color. It will dry. And once it dries, then you see what you actually got. So you'll find, and it aggravates a lot of people. But I'm so used to it, it doesn't bother me anymore. But you can put in a real nice dark, and look at it. It looks great. You know, worked really well. And then you let it dry, and it has a haze. Like I just noticed right here, that black that I created has a haze. So I'll wait and see how it bone dries. But I'll most likely have to go back into this again and put another layer of a purple on top to really set the color back.
Arlen says, I painted a picture on canvas for a friend. There was no bigger reward than the smile on his face when he realized that it was for him to keep.
That's awesome.
George says, Tommy taught me how to get much better in all aspects of my work and how to feel it and do shows. I am forever grateful.
Well, George is one of the few that came and asked advice. I gave it, and he actually did
Followed
it.
it.
You know, I told him his anatomy was terrible. So I told him, George Bridgman, copy George Bridgman. And he did. And he still does. You know, I told him you never stop learning. You never stop practicing. You know, I do warm up almost every day with anatomy. You know, they all wind up in Sammy's collection.
What does?
My anatomy drawings.
Yep. I keep them. Because they're my favorite.
Yep.
Although, I don't think with Nathan, I don't think I'd be able to keep any of the weird paintings.
Any weird sketches?
Yeah, we're going to have to fight for them if that's the case. We'll have to live stream that on Twitch. The fight for the weird paintings. Oh, we hit the goal. We're at 600. Yay, 600 followers.
Does that mean we just have six?
We have 600 followers. So people that are joined the channel and are going to, consistently see us.
Oh, okay.
It notifies them and stuff. Yay, 600. Thank you all, 600.
Now, for all of you out there, don't be shy. If you have questions, don't think your question's stupid. Remember, there's no stupid questions, only stupid people. Is that funny?
Yes.
But yeah, don't be shy. Ask your question. Especially you artists out there that are watching and are trying to learn something. You learn by asking questions. And I pretty much answer everything. Sometimes I'm even right.
Let's see. Hooker says, let's see some anatomy drawings. I love anatomy studies. Nathan says, I got weight on you. Jello wrestling. And I wrote, yeah, but I'm wiry.
Yeah.
And Nathan laughed. And then Shai says, you're welcome. Let's see. Free says, whoop. Nathan says, we know plenty of those. Tommy, you guys rock. And once again, thank you. Parkin says, I gotta go bye-bye. Good night, Parkin. I just think it's funny. I like reading people's names because they likely will never hear their name read out loud. They have some weird-ass names. Not that that one's weird. Let's see, Emily. What materials would you recommend for someone who wants to start painting?
Watercolor.
That was quick.
Just start. Traditionally, artists you would draw for almost 10 years before you would start painting. So, and when you started painting, you start painting with watercolor. Is that my Emily?
Yes, Emily. Your Emily.
And remember, Emily, we're pretty much family. So if you ever want to come and paint, you come to Florida and I will teach you anything you want to learn.
Any particular brand? She asks.
What's the name? What are those Pelican kits?
Oh, I'll type it in, Emily. There you go. I typed it. If you painted on glass, what type of paints would you use?
They make special paint for painting on glass.
You could paint on with acrylic, right? But you'd have to paint in reverse.
Yeah. Just like when they do windows.
Yeah.
Over the holidays. They paint Santa Claus on the windows and stuff. It's all acrylic.
Let's see. Emily says, I want to. I have to save up to get there. And thanks, Tommy. Jesse says, you should probably share with people what pencil to use to draw with. Here you go. Ready? This is one of the best, most elite pencils that's so terribly hard to get.
I like that not only am I sarcastic about it, but you were like way more sarcastic about it.
Yellow number 2. This is a Dixon Ticonderoga HB. Draw with that.
There's all different kind of pencils that you can work with. I have a bunch of different lead holders and what have you. But until you learn how to create line variety, you should just use either a completely woodless pencil, so all graphite, you'll see them, they're all black, and try and draw with a softer lead, nothing harder than an HB. And again, it's the trick is, pencil doesn't mean squat. It's the hand that wields it. What are you doing?
I'm looking for something to write with so I don't forget. Jesse wrote LOL real big, and Inga says, love those guys.
Man, I keep thinking about how crazy I was going when I couldn't do this.
It's dead.
I was going friggin' nuts.
You might want to raise that up a little bit. You're starting to block. And you're hunching over so it looks uncomfortable.
Okay, can you see that? Move that out of the way.
Yeah.
See, so we started getting some modeling going on there. And again, I'll let it dry. And then I'll look and see if I like the way that it dries. And most likely I'll come back in and use, different colors and move it around more. It's a journey. And you really need to just enjoy the journey. I like the subtle tones. I mean, most of it you only see when you actually own the original. You can get right on top of it and see little tiny highlights and dabs of color.
Says, I hate going to bed, but it's 3:40 in the morning here, and I have to. Good night, Arlen. Don't forget, we'll be back tomorrow as well. 3:40, that must be Europe.
Wasn't he in France?
No, that was Ira. Ira score 29 or something. This is Arlen, 11. Or Erlen, however you'd like to pronounce that. Inga says, in sculpting we are making clay skulls. Yes, multiple skulls. And because of your tutorial on skulls, Uncle Tommy, my clay skulls actually look like skulls. Mm-hmm. The other skulls are misshapen and look like weird balls other than skulls. They also didn't sketch the skulls out before they started making the skulls. Total amount of times I said skulls, 10. That's right, my girlfriend. Huh. Oh, perfect.
What?
Iris said, that's right, my girlfriend, is meaning Arlen is his girlfriend. I have to go to. Well, good night, guys. Bonne nuit.
Yeah, good night. Thanks for hanging out.
We'll be back tomorrow, 7 p.m. our time, which is your time. What is it? 7 hours ahead? 6 hours ahead?
I don't know. Where are they?
Switzerland.
And how would we know that?
I think England's 6 hours. And if they're in the same time zone, then 6 hours ahead.
You're on your computer. Look it up.
But that means I gotta take my hands out of my pockets and do things. Good night. See, Nathan says England is 6 hours. I was right. And even if he's wrong, I'm still saying he's right because he's giving us lots of money for these. Is that funny? I'd say France.
Now, I was just starting to put a little bit of highlights on the top of his head.
What are you putting highlights in with?
Now, it's the thing. I'm putting these highlights in with yellow. They're not just... each highlight is not just white.
Even though it looks like it's becoming white.
Mm-hmm. It's actually yellow. What we're trying to do again is create as much depth and texture as possible. You know, you want your character to look like it's really there. And that doesn't mean that it's photographic. It means that it feels like it's there, like it really could exist. And nothing in this world that's natural is perfectly smooth and without bumps and texture. Anything that comes from nature, anything grown or birthed, has imperfections. And it's the imperfections that make it awesome.
N2 says, so happy to see that you've regained your sight. Paul's brother, Howard.
Oh, that's cool.
I found the news of your health issues very painful. May you continue to improve.
Thank you, Howard. I appreciate it.
And then, Mama Weird, but what time is it in Malifaux? And I wrote, is there really any good time in Malifaux? And Nathan replies, it's bedtime in Malifaux. Thank you for the host. Oh, at the house now was out earlier was all. No road trips for me for another month or so. Just got back from New York Comic Con.
Who's that?
Nathan.
Oh.
Trio asks, are you the one that was doing the X-Files art a while ago?
No.
Not unless you were moonlighting while you were sleeping. Trio says, my bad. I'm sorry, LOL.
Oh, nothing to be sorry about.
You should be. I'm just kidding.
I always think it's funny.
Great art, though.
Sometimes people will bring me books to get signed. And I'll look at it and say, I didn't do this. And then my wife says, actually, yes, you did, honey.
Yeah. Well, when you're in, what? I think the last tally was 700 different titles and publications.
Mm-hmm. Something like that.
You forget what you've done. Even I don't have I think I know more because I have to. But I don't know all of them. Every once in a while I get one that throws me for a loop.
Yeah.
Ooh, we're at 601 followers.
That's awesome.
I should change the follower goal, but I'm going to leave it tonight as 600. So we can feel accomplished. And then we'll raise it again tomorrow.
Well, I'm not greedy. I want 6,000.
That's it?
Tonight.
Tonight. I'll add another 0. We'll pretend. Oh, I'm also going to try and get out for Dragon Con next year. My uncle lives by and goes, Emily says. Said Emily. That's awesome. That'll be great. You all really like Dragon Con. Right?
Yep.
Right?
She's old enough now to really enjoy it.
Yeah. That is true.
How long have we been going?
We've been streaming for 2 hours and 38 minutes and 10, 11, 12, 13 seconds, 14 seconds, 15 seconds. So are there any other streamers you enjoy here on Twitch? Blind Coyote Studios asks.
Honestly, I've never watched anybody on Twitch. I didn't even know Twitch existed. I'm an old man. I didn't even know Twitch existed until my niece, Jennifer,
No flutter.
Told me I should be on it. And then they actually helped me put this all together.
I'm sorry, who did they help put together this?
Between my wife and Sean and Jennifer, they put it all together. I have no idea how any of this works.
Yeah, I just tell them to sit down and paint and talk. Camera 1, camera 2, get your head out of the way. Right?
Yep.
Jeremy! Hey! Jeremy says hi.
Hey, Jeremy.
Jeremy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Inga says, you're not old.
I feel pretty old.
I like that green on the tentacle. On the camera, it looks like it's glowing.
This one?
No, that
this
one. Yeah.
Yeah, I added that,
It looks like a bluey color.
Yeah, blue.
He says, you can see!
Who said that?
Jeremy.
Yes, Jeremy, I can see.
Everybody's going into culture shock. Shell shock from seeing him actually paint and not blind painting. They're like, it's so weird.
Yeah.
It's going to take him days to do this.
Yeah. I'm excited about it, though. I love it.
It's looking wonderful.
The thing about doing something that's heavily detailed and takes a while is when it's done, man, there's nothing better than watching people's reaction to it. I can't wait to see people's reaction to this. And you feel proud of it. You're proud of what you've done. And a lot of the artists that I know have been, biting at the bit because I said that if I could paint, if I could see again, I plan on knocking everything out of the park.
Taking them all back to school.
And, that's the plan. And you can't just come back. You have to come back with a vengeance. I lost all those years. I'll not lose another day. And I'll be working on this all day tomorrow as well. So by the time I get back to the show,
there'll be way more done.
Yeah, there'll be a lot more done.
Although we probably will record it and then throw it up on YouTube. So that way there's a record of it.
And there's a big difference of painting when I'll be sitting here tomorrow, not trying to get my head out of the way. I'll just be able to sit and paint. At least that's the plan. Yeah, I have a friend, another artist, I was up real late with for the last couple of nights, actually, and he's painting as well. We sat up. He was asking me to explain this technique. His paintings are coming out looking great. His name is Dirk Strangely.
Jeremy asked, with commission, Sammy, can you guys do a digital image or is everything in real medium? And I said, yeah, you can choose to do digital. And he says, I may have a commission for you. I will FB you the details. John says, who cares if your head is in the way? We are just glad you're back. I care if his head's in the way. I'm the producer of this show and I have high standards.
What's the name of the show?
The Tommy Castillo Show.
Dun, 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 dun.
And sometimes Sammy too. The nasty yellow teeth are just great.
You like that?
They just look like they smell and feel disgusting.
Mm-hmm. That's for sure. Where'd I get the zombie straw? Wayne?
Yeah. You got another one too. I just put that one in there. Let's see here. MS DOS says, it's nice to see a great artist seeing again after not being able to see. There was an artist that I aspired and looked up to who died after becoming blind because he didn't get the money in time for a needed surgery. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, that's for sure. I was pretty much in that category.
Yep.
We're what, like about $1 million in debt in medical now?
Yep. I don't count it. I just put it on the pile.
Yeah, I don't care. I'm alive. I could see.
Jeremy says, the Tommy Castillo Show with limited interruptions from Tommy's head.
That's awesome.
Oh, where is it?
What? What are you doing?
I'm looking for our sponsor. Our sponsor, honey. Where's our sponsor?
The ball?
Brought to you by Blue Ball. It's a ball, it's round, and it's blue with an angry face. That's the jingle I got today, sorry. It wasn't a very good jingle. It's ball, it's ball.
It's heavy, it's round, it's good.
It's heavy, it's round, it's blue. It's ball, it's ball. It's better than bad, it's good. I'll be right back, I gotta grab my
talking about sponsorships.
tablet real quick.
For the artists out there, here's the new one I got. Here's a skeleton, which is friggin' awesome. And I've made a deal with
anatomytools.com
that anybody that mentions my name gets a discount.
I'll have a code in the next week or so that you can plug in so you can get a discount at checkout. If they heard that. I'm trying to plug this in.
And if you're studying and drawing skulls,
Or sculpting skulls.
Or sculpting skulls, look at this. This is awesome.
I think my laptop died. Or my tablet died. Don't say anything in chat. My tablet died.
Yeah, that's like a signal just to start talking.
No! You won't get any answers because I won't be able to see them. I have the streaming running on the laptop, but the tablet has the chat. Takes up less power. If it decides to work.
Now, different brushes do different things. So you'll notice if you try different brushes, they will put the paint down in a variety of different ways. You know, some people like their paintings to look like a brush never touched them. So they don't want any brush strokes. You know, others love the brush stroke. So experiment. And just because a brush says, you know, oil painting brush, does not mean you can't use it in other ways. This is actually an oil painting brush right here. And I like it because it puts the paint down, mixes really well. And I switch over to an acrylic brush.
Howard, repost what you just posted. I saw you said something, but I didn't have a chance to see it. I think he said he wanted to do a time lapse of several days of art.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we have videos going up on YouTube, don't we?
Yes.
Yeah, we just had a bunch of footage edited. And they made a really cool intro for me, so it like bleeds down and then it says my name. Really neat.
How many colors are on your palette? Do you use a fairly limited palette?
It's a fairly limited palette. This palette right here has about 30 colors on it.
36.
36 colors on it.
But you're not using all 36, are you?
No, I'm not. I use a very traditional palette. So you'll see a lot of purples and greens. Very reminiscent of a Rembrandt. Only in the color usage. Sometimes, I use just a very extremely limited palette. All counts on the desired effect.
Let's see. It would be great to do a time lapse to accelerate the artwork from several days down to several minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Very much so.
Well, I've watched a bunch of videos on artists on YouTube, and I really hate the way the videos are done. You know, the guys will say, alright, we're going to paint this. I'm going to show you how to paint this. And like, okay, now it's painted. So now what you want to do is look at it and,
Poodle Mama says it doesn't look so limited in the final product. I guess in terms of your palette.
Well, the thing is, this blue right here is the same thing as this green. The difference is the yellow that's underneath this blue is a mustard yellow, where the yellow underneath this is a lemon yellow. So the colors change according to your perception of them. But it doesn't mean that there's a ton of different colors. It's just the manner in which I use them alters the color itself. So I could just use primary colors and get 50 different colors on my painting. You just have to know how it works.
And he switched, I don't know how long ago, but he switched to a thin, is that a liner?
This is a liner.
And I think it's just a regular, what is it? Doesn't even have a brand on it.
No, they were
These
cheap.
are
It was
cheapo
5 in a
ones.
pack.
Yeah. It just says 3/0.
Mm-hmm.
Nathan says, be back in a bit.
I'm getting hungry.
Uh-oh, it's a ham sandwich break. No, I don't have ham or a sandwich. Or cheese.
Can't have them.
You're not allowed those things.
Nope. Unfortunately, with the kidney failure, my diet is so limited that it's very difficult to even come up with something to eat.
Yep. Well, you know, you can eat so many things with your no sugar, low carb, low sodium, low potassium, low phosphorus diet. Party Jake says, Tommy's on a strict pizza diet. Welcome, Party Jake. Poodle Mama says, or Barbara rather, says, Tommy used the shit out of the mustard yellow when he was painting blind. It's a whole nother animal now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's my bad. Sorry for shaking the camera. Well, now that he's got a mohawk, at least there's not, like, giant amounts of hair blocking. We've streamlined your head a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was funny. That's all that matters. I like how you hide the faces back there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You like that?
I do like that. So are you painting, like, in a particular order, or just kind of going with the flow?
No, I'm just painting.
So you're just painting, like, one guy, then the next guy, and then blending them together, and then going on to the next guy, right? Or are you just jumping around?
I'm painting so that my hand doesn't go back over what I've already done until it dries.
Got it.
And I'm painting with it drying.
Huh?
I'm waiting to see how it dries, and then I'm adding to it as I'm going. I really like the way the eye came out, so. See, I had to wait for that to dry before I could put that little highlight in there.
Poodle Mama says broccoli, bok choy, and kale. That's my diet since I was diagnosed pre-diabetic. I should change from Poodle Mama to broccoli, bok choy. So they're not letting you eat the poodles anymore, huh? Is that funny?
Mm-hmm.
The colors that you're using, the color scheme and how you're painting reminds me of the Vellum 500 series cover. Just the same feel of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although better executed, I think. I think more depth. That's what I mean by better executed.
Mm-hmm. I think that looks cool. What?
She said the poodles eat kibble and then they think carrots are the big treat. LOL. So do I. What's your big treat?
Don't know.
No?
Can't think of anything. Salad.
Salad. That's not fair. You get treats. You get ice cream, even though you're not supposed to eat them.
Alright, come over here and talk for a minute. I gotta go to the bathroom.
What am I supposed to say? I can't read the chat.
Tell them what you like about the game. Point things out.
Okay. I can't see anything. So, if you're gonna talk, what did this say? Okay. Oh. Hi, everyone. There's Kermit. There's the angry monkey. Lots of rats. Boy, people are saying things, and I can't read it. Hold on. Bring the chat with you. I treat myself with an Oregon microbrew once a week. I'm taking the chat with me. Hold on. Don't say anything yet. Twitch. I love your hair. Thank you. I turned it green by accident the other day. It's not green anymore. Apparently none of the channels I follow are live. Hold on. Chat. Oh, I'm in the chat now. Huzzah! No, I don't want that. Oh, I can hear myself. I don't see anything. Someone say something. Stupid chat. They changed the app and I don't know how to use it now. Oh well. Huh, that sounds wonderful. Perfect. I can see things. It is bluish black. Forever ago, it was like a white blonde and it was super short. And it was before Tommy got his vision back, I think before San Diego. And he couldn't tell if I was looking at him or not because everything was just kind of a big whitish blob. So I ended up going dark for San Diego Comic-Con in July, end of July. And then I just kept going dark. So, ta-da! Are you back? Oh, that was fast.
Just go give me my grapes, please.
Alright. I didn't really talk about anything exciting. Let's see. Ow, what? Why'd you hit me?
You were in my way.
So you just whacked me in the ribs?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, why touching you? You've been hanging out with Ripley too long.
I know. I'm gonna start crying like you drop kicked me. Go get Lucy. Go get Daddy. Go get Daddy. No, not me. Get Daddy.
Oh. So if you might have guessed, this is exhausting.
Here you go. Grapes. Well, we've been on for 3 hours.
Have we?
Yes. It is 10:18.
Well, I know that, remember when we started, everybody said that if I go over a half hour, people are going to leave.
Yeah, nobody would pay attention. Inga wants to know what the male face is on the desk. Taped to the desk. The emotions.
That thing?
Yeah.
It's another product from
anatomytools.com.
Mm-hmm. And it's just different expressions.
Here, I'll turn the camera so you can see them. There you go. That's what it looks like. Oh, let me adjust that back. How about that? Readjust.
There's a lot of random stuff on the table.
Too high.
Mm.
Well, better.
All the paintings, all the prints, they're NC Wyeth and a Howard Pyle. This is one of the original Pirates of the Caribbean postcards.
Scott, hey guys, I'm so excited to see this piece. I play Malifaux and the Dreamer is my favorite character. So I hope at some point this print will be for sale because I so want one.
It will be.
These are super handy when drawing faces from the sides. Let's see. Those look cool. I wish I wasn't broke. I'll switch back to the painting so you're not just watching Tommy eat. Ta-da! There you go. Why don't you move the piece of paper while you're chowing down on the grapes? Was Oliver? He's like, can I have a grape? Even though I don't really like them. Unless you split them in half. And then I'll eat them if Mom gives it to me. We're talking about our dogs. If you've been on the stream before, they're two dachshunds, Uzi and Oliver. What? She ate it. Do you want to wrap it up for now, or take a break? Let me see Oliver. I miss them.
Now, if you notice, I was working on this face. I let it dry, and the color kind of just disappeared. So I was going too light. Well, you have to, when you're doing this, you have to keep going and going until you get to where you want. Sometimes it doesn't work. When I started, that used to frustrate me.
Yeah?
Not anymore. Okay. Well, any more questions before we wrap it up for the night?
Not as of yet, but there is a delay. John King says, see you tomorrow night. See you guys tomorrow. Are you ever doing more Dark Side of Oz art? I love your work on it.
Yes.
Well, it's our property, so we will be having more of that out.
Eventually, I'll be doing the full book and a game. It's interesting. If you look at this arm, this arm, the shoulder's in the exact right place for this arm,
right?
And the exact right place for that arm. Right.
Yeah, it's like you know what you're doing. Weird. Let's see here. Let's see here. You and your demon dog. Let's see. I love this session, Tommy. Thank you for the treat. See you tomorrow, Tommy and Sammy. N2 asked, is this a commissioned illustration? A game, you say? Why don't you explain, because there are people that jumped on.
Okay, this
explain real quick and then finish.
This painting right here is for WYRD Games. And it is a redesign of one of their main characters. It's called The Dreamer. And if you go back and look at the rest of this video,
we very much explain it.
It's all in detail in there.
Jeremy says, Malifaux, I play that.
Yep.
Well, there you go. We're going to be doing 13 of their major characters.
Yes. Yes.
The 13 most popular, I think it is.
Mm-hmm. You can actually go to their website.
Yeah, on the forum.
And, on the forum, and you can vote on what I paint next.
Very cool. Love the high level of detail. Ink says, reminds me of Berserk.
Berserk?
Yeah.
You know, I worked on Berserk, right?
I don't think people do.
Yeah, I actually painted Berserk.
The covers, right? The American covers?
For, I forget, I think it was a card set.
Oh, card set. Let's see. Tab says, thanks for the stream. Looks good. Nice to see WYRD paying for some quality imagery.
Yeah.
Whatever became of the dragons for PR sleeves or whatever that was?
The dragons for Ultra Pro. Again, if you go to the beginning of the video,
you see them.
That's what I started out with. I started showing everybody those dragons.
MS DOS says not enough blood for Berserk. Tab says, can you try and persuade Nathan to shell out for painted minis on the box art? You could try and persuade him yourself. He is in the chat tonight.
He's on.
Let's see. Or Pegasus says, I'm so happy you're back. I flipped when I was told you were streaming today. I can't wait for tomorrow.
Well, I thank you. I appreciate it. This is something I've been looking forward to so much on the nights that I was really sad and, you know, wondering what the hell is going to happen with my life. This is something I missed more than I ever thought I would. Missed it so much it hurt. Yeah, what did we have? 14,000 people respond to my post about?
No, it was, the last I checked, which was this morning, was 22,000 something. It slowed down a little, but let me check what it is now. And that's just on the fan page. That's not between mine and yours. So, easily over, 30,000. Oh, let's see what it says. Painting or streaming? We are at 24,820 people saw your previous post.
Well, I guess this whole painting thing worked. My guidance counselor in school told me to be a garbage man.
Yep.
What was it again? I wasn't very talented and wasn't very smart.
That's what the stupid say of the talented and the smart and the genius. Right, Oliver? Oliver's a genius. He can conjugate verbs.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yes. Oh. Tommy said he missed it so much. Oh. Ink said, painting or streaming? And I said, painting or streaming what? And Ink clarified and said, Tommy said he missed it so much.
Oh, well, not being able to paint was like not being able to breathe. The streaming was just something I really missed because I really enjoy, I really enjoy sharing. I really enjoy helping artists. I struggled and went through a lot of hell, and I try and help people not have to go through that. You know, I like sharing.
All right, ready to wrap it up?
Yeah. So, thank you so much, everybody, for coming and seeing us. Please come back. I'll be painting on this until it's done. And again, ask questions. Jump in. Don't be shy.
For those of you new to the channel, we typically stream every night, barring Tommy is feeling up to it. Probably more so now than ever before, but usually 7 o'clock Eastern. And you can find all of our information on under the live feed in the channel. Join Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. That's typically what we use to announce every time we're going to be on. And I usually announce it a couple hours beforehand. Poodle Mama says, Tommy can see. Life is good. Good night, folks. Seth, no. Thanks, Tommy and Sammy. Really good stuff. Jesse says, night, Tommy and Sammy. How about you turn and say goodnight to everybody?
Good night, everybody. Thank you. I'll see you tomorrow.
And good night, everyone. We will see you tomorrow.